Good morning and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books from Book of the Month Club and beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee. This is Raina. She's your co-host today. And it's April 1st, believe it or not. So happy April Fool's Day. Is anybody planning any shenanigans today? If so, let me know in the comments. Give me some ideas. Because I haven't planned anything, but I have a feeling something might be coming. So, yeah, I'm going to be keeping that in mind. Also, we just had Easter weekend, as well as other religious holidays that all kind of have to do with rebirth and renewal. So, I hope that you're all ready to emerge anew. So today is a good day to wrap up the month of March. So let's get started. First, I read The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. And this book was in my mystery book haul, which I unboxed in a video in February. There were 10 books in all. This is the second one that I read from that haul. I talked a little about it at the beginning of the month when I had started it. It's a story that is unusual. It's as unusual actually as its title. The best thing that I liked about it was the depiction of the relationship between an autistic young man and his father. It was very touching and it gave a nice warmth to the story. So the next book I read, actually, I will show you here on my tablet because I borrowed it from the library and I've returned that one since. It is called Dark Enough to See the Stars in a Jamestown Sky by Connie Lopolo. This is the first book in a three-part series called the Sky series. And they are based on true stories about the history of Jamestown. And they're told through the eyes of the women and children who came to what was then the new land. The stories were actually handed down through the author's family, through the women in the family. The first book, which is this one, takes place in the early 1600s. And I live not too far from Jamestown. I visited often. I did a video about it, which I will put a link below. So for me, it was very interesting because I can picture the exact areas that are referenced in the book. And it's also very interesting that it was written from a women's perspective, which you don't always get on some of the historical novels. So I read this because March was Women's History Month, and I really liked it, and I'm sure that I will at some point seek out the second and the third volumes. So next was Killers of the Flower Moon, which is by an author by the name of David Gran. Sorry, I'm giving some little treats there. She's being really good. So, author by the name of David Gran. This is a story about the events that took place in the 1930s involving the Osage Indians of Oklahoma, following the discovery of oil on their land. It's a very, very well researched and written book. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did a full review on my channel. Again, link below. Next up is another book out of my mystery box. So this is the third one out of the box that I've read, and it's called Little Bee by Chris Cleave. This is a work of fiction. And what can I say about this? It's tragic and it's heart-wrenching, but yet somehow it leaves you hopeful, because the character of Little Bee is so engaging and upbeat no matter what the circumstances are. She's like a spark of black and yellow fuzzy joy that buzzes through the saddest moments and makes you feel alive. You're happier to have known her is, I think, pretty much a good way to sum it up. But the book is not an easy one to read. There's great tragedy described here. And I would say if you're interested in it, know what you're getting into, because there are some very difficult moments with it. Next are, and I'll do these together, 2 graphic books. And I'm reaching back so she expects a treat. There we go. 2 graphic books. One is Genderqueer by Maya Kobabe. The other is Flamer by Mike Curato. These were my contributions to the banned books project for the month. I did a full review of the books, which I will link below as well. Genderqueer is #1 on the list of 10 most banned books. Actually, there's 13 on the list because some are in ties with each other. 13 banned books on the American Library Association website. And Flamer is the #4 book. So next, I have for you a brand new release. Treat, please. A brand new release called Ghost Town Living. The author is Brent Underwood, and I've been dying to talk about this book. It just came out in mid-March, and it is a true account, kind of a memoir, really, from this young man who in 2019, he purchased a ghost town. The ghost town is called Cerro Gordo, C-E-R-R, and then it's G-O-R-D-O, Cerro Gordo, which is located in the Sierra Nevada mountains above Death Valley. During the late 1800s through into the mid 1950s-ish, maybe 1940s, there were several types of ore that were mined from nearby the town of Cerro Gordo. And believe it or not, there are a whopping 30 miles of mines. Here's a map here. 30 miles of mines going over 1,000 feet down. These can be accessed from different places in the mountain. And there was more ore pulled out of Cerro Gordo than any other place. It's like in the hundreds of millions of dollars worth of ore that was taken out of there. And in today's numbers would be well into the several billions. So Brent is very dedicated to preserving the history of the town, and he's working on several projects involved in different things on the property, rebuilding a hotel, reinforcing and rebuilding many of the other buildings that are in the town as well. He's started a museum there with different artifacts that he's found throughout the area, all kinds of things, ore buckets, parts of blue jeans, sardine cans, all kinds of things like that, dynamite boxes, all kinds of stuff. Now, the reason I found out about this in the first place is that he has a YouTube channel. It is called Ghost Town Living, and he's documented everything from pretty much his first day on arrival at Cerro Gordo. And I have watched it from pretty much the first day. Can't say I've watched every single episode, but I definitely have watched the majority of it. And I highly recommend it. The channel itself is called Ghost Town Living also. And I love it. It has adventure, history, it has beautiful scenery. In fact, I was willing to pre-order the book and even pay up a little bit to get me a signed copy, just so that, you know, I considered it a donation to the channel, as well as something that I truly did enjoy. I enjoyed the book just as much as I enjoy the channel. So I'll link it below, and I hope that you'll take a look. I also finished the final 2 books assigned to me as a judge in the octafinals of the BookTube Prize, or for the BookTube Prize. And I'll find out later today how those books fared in competition with the others. And as soon as I have the green light to do so, I will share my thoughts on those books. They're all fiction, and they'll all be releases in 2023 or late. I believe there's some from late 2022 as well. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus there was one I showed on my Kindle. That's 7 plus the 2 BookTube. 9 books for March. So that's a hefty load for me. But as I look at them, I realize that I really liked all of them. So it's good to do a lot of reading when there's a lot of good reading to do. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of you. And if you're in the mood, keep watching. I have a little bit of additional content that I'm going to add to the video of my plants, and also a pottery update. So take care. Have a great day. All right, so just a little plant update. We still got the big boy here. I don't even know what the fate of that one's going to be, but anyway, there we are. And then over here we have some more salad greens that are just getting ready to pop up. They're in there. They all are sprouting, so I think I'll have 4 little heads of lettuce there pretty soon. So that's good. These are looking good, growing nicely. They're going to need bigger pots soon, and I'm just hoping to get these bigger guys outside at some point soon. But what I did want to show was that I have microgreens growing right now in 2 different ways. This is in the soil in my famous tofu containers, and I had showed how I planted some of these a couple of months ago. The ones I planted at that time were broccoli. These are kale. And you can see they have some beautiful red stems. The leaves are very nice. I'm going to cut and harvest some of those now. And I have no complaints about those. They grew beautifully. Over here, I have microgreens growing in a different style. These are growing in an aero garden. This is an adapter for the aero garden here that works for microgreens. They grow on a pad. It's a white pad. You can kind of see it there. It's just loaded with roots. And this is not kale, it's cress. So the flavor is very similar to the watercress that you'd get at the store. It's kind of peppery. So I'm going to have to think about what I want to do with those. But I'm going to harvest some of these today too. And I did want to show you look at the kind of roots these these put out. You know, because they're in water and no soil, those roots just go way down. So the thing you have to be careful of when you're harvesting microgreens at any time is you don't want to pull, because you'll pull some of the small root from the bottom. And that's the part that you don't want to eat. So you want to really cut. Some people use a knife. I usually use scissors and just cut along. These are not that high, so it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But I don't think that they're really going to grow that much higher. They're pretty thick, and if I just keep waiting, there's going to, and plus they're growing in the water, it's just going to be too much water on the top, and I don't want them to start getting any mold or algae or anything like that. So let's see what I can do with cutting these up. All right, so on this one, I just cut a little bit into it, and what I don't like is that I think it's just the type of seed. They form like kind of like almost like a gel, and with being in the AeroGarden, they are very, very, very wet. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut all of these, keep them in a plastic bag in the refrigerator to let them kind of dry out just a little bit, so that they don't get any mold or algae or anything like that, because they're pretty wet in there. I think the mistake I might have made there is too much seed. I spread too much seed down when I started these. Probably should have realized that cress really pulls up a lot of water, and this is a water system, so there you go, between the two things. But that's okay. They're still very salvageable, very edible. They'll be just fine. Like I say, they have like a nice peppery taste. It's almost like a radish, actually. And then over here are the kale. I harvested almost half. And these I'm just watering from the bottom. I've got like a double container here. And this top one has holes in the bottom. In fact, you'll be able to see some of the roots kind of coming out of that. So I watered from the bottom, because now with the roots showing, the plant will pull up the water. So these will be fine to leave just the way they are for, you know, another week, easy. And then over here, I have the beginnings of my breakfast. These are the cress, and these are the kale, a little bit of cream cheese and some cucumber. Spread a little cream cheese on that cucumber and then put a few of those microgreens on there, and it's delicious. Maybe I'll make a little bit of toast too. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day. So I took that video a couple of weeks ago of those microgreens and the kale and the cress, and then I promptly forgot about it. And so in the meantime, I set up more microgreens. Those are all gone. The kale and cress are gone. And now we have on this side some nice alfalfa. And on this side, we have some cabbage. I believe they call this red cabbage. And again, just like the kale, I'm blocking too much light here. There we go. Just like the kale, they've got that red stem. So they're very pretty, a little deeper color than what the kale had. And yeah, they've been growing a couple of weeks now, so they are more than ready to be harvested. So I think I'm going to make an omelet and put those on top of the omelet today. So I wanted to give you that update. And while we're here, I might as well just go ahead and show you the lettuce. This is what I showed last time that I'm just getting caught up with. And they were just little sprouts. You could barely see any green coming up out of the little pods. But now we've got some small lettuce plants. So, yeah. You could eat a little bit. You wouldn't probably want to because it's not very much, but yeah, you could pluck a leaf off and give it a try right now. The only thing that the only thing I kind of don't like is that a lot of these just so happen to be the red ones, and those don't usually grow as large. There's a green one in the back. It seems to be taking a little longer to get started, but I will bet you in the end it will be the bigger one. Although you can never be real sure. Well, we'll see. But yeah, they're beautiful. Really, really, really nice. So, all right, have a great day. And while we're catching up on things from the month, this on the left is the yarn bowl that was created during the 3-part series on how Donna does her pottery. And on the right, this is the bowl that was just bisque fired in the videos, but hadn't yet been glaze fired. And so now it's come out of the kiln for that second pass, and the glaze is all hardened onto it. And this is what it ended up looking like. It's got a little more design cut into it. Yeah, and it's got that, it's got that brownish color, some greenish color inside. Almost has like a copper, tarnished copper look, which is really very pretty. It's a different type of clay than this bowl is. This bowl is porcelain clay, so it's lighter in color, possibly lighter in weight as well, although not really much. This, you can tell, is darker, a little more like a, I don't know, kind of like a stone clay to me. But yeah, there they are side by side. Little different design too. This one is a little bit deeper, and it's got a flatter bottom than what this does. Like a, I don't mean to say flatter, but kind of just, you know, a wider area on the bottom. This one is not as large, so probably depends what type of yarn you work with, which one, you know, would work best. But yeah, this has kind of more graduated edges rather than just going straight up. So this one probably keeps the cats out better. But anyway, yeah, there you go. They look great. She did a wonderful job on them.